Hello, this is Douglas Robinson. I'm a solutions consultant with Beyond 20. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing how we can use a trick with system functions to evaluate or to retrieve data from the current user's user info or customer record as if it were a system function. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and open up a one-step. And in this one step, I'm going to add a show a pop-up action as an example. Now, if I wanted to display some data from my current user record in this show a pop-up action, I have a couple of predefined options under the system functions listing for items that are listed under my user info profile or my customer record, depending on whether I'm signed into the rich client or the portal. Now, these are very useful because if you know that you're going to need to use the current user's email address and you don't want to build out a relationship to the current user under user info or customer or both, then you can easily use a system function for this, and it works out very well because you don't have to do any additional development. However, some would say the problem with trying to use system functions like this is that you can't add system functions, so you can't customize this list very much. What you can do is you can go onto your customer or your user info table and you can swap out which fields hold a website field, for example, or which fields are marked as holding an email address at the bottom of the field properties editor. And if you do that correctly, then it'll change which field gets mapped to the system function. But at the end of the day, you're left with a static number of values that are going to be available here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use a metric to return a value from the current user's user info record. So I'm going to go to my user scope folder under the metrics manager. I'm going to create a new metric. Now I'm going to be querying a value from the user info table. If I wanted to use this for customers, I would have to select the customer table instead. Unlike a system function, this is going to be related to a specific business object association. Next, under the data type section, I'm going to select text. This is important because most of the text I'm going to be trying to query from user info is going to be a text field. You could obviously select this from one of the other values, but it's probably going to be text. So for my query, I'm going to check that userinfo.recID equals system functions current user record ID. That's the only search criteria I need, and this is going to bring me to the current user's user info record. There's only going to be one. And later, when I pick a value to be returned by this metric, I'm going to say return the first or the last record's value in this field. And since there's only one record, it'll always match up to the same value from the current user's record. Now, you can use this trick later on to get values from other records, so long as you know what the record ID is, so that you can constrain your search results down to a single value. Now back onto the value page, I'm going to select first, and then I'm going to pick out the field that I want to retrieve the value from. This can be any field on the record. So if I'm selecting text as my data type, it can be any field of text on the current user's record. So for some reason, I wanted to grab the current user's system LDAP path, or let's see, what would be a good one? If I wanted to grab the user that created my current user account, I could do that in a metric, and from there I only need to add the metric into a field editor or pop-up or other action where I'm trying to use it in order to call that metric. Now, part of using metrics is that they can cache a value. So you can call a value in a metric and it caches it locally. So the next time you call a value in the metric, it can retrieve it from your local machine's cache instead of repeatedly querying the database. That's not really relevant to what we're doing here, because what we're doing here isn't really what metrics are supposed to be used for. So you could leave this to cache a value or grab the current value or the value from 5 minutes ago, or you can go under advanced and check that this should reload the current cache value each time the metric is requested. That's really up to you, but it might not make a difference as far as us doing this, because ideally your data on your user info record or customer record isn't going to be changing that frequently. So I'll click OK and run my one step, and in the pop-up that ensues, I can see that my user info record for CSD admin was created by Henry Bryce. So that's an easy way that we can, within a one-step, well, actually outside of a one-step, but it's intended that we'll end up using this either within a one-step or in visibility or disability expressions throughout the form or dashboard editors. Since this is a metric, you can actually use it outside of the standard one-steps. Metric values can be used anywhere that system function values can, I believe. So from a dashboard, from a relationship editor in the constraints section, I believe you might be able to get some metric values entered in for the resulting value, not for the initial comparison. So many of the places in Cherwell you should be able to use this, and it's as simple as defining out your metric definition. You can have as many of those as you need, and making sure that you're using the right one for the user info record if you're a Cherwell user, or the customer record if you're expecting to use this for a customer in the portal. Alright, that's all that I had to cover in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments section below. If you have any other, or if you'd like to see other videos like this one, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/beyond20lc.